youtube.com/cardgamingforall. What's up everybody, the Card Gamer here today with my review of the Gold Paladin Sun Lion deck, a deck that I built that focuses both on the Gurgate and also the Ezel archetype. Now before we move on with the deck specifics, I'll share to you the deck contents. First and foremost, for the G units, I put in a copy of the Golden Knight of Incandescence Ebraucus, a copy of Fast Chase Golden Knight Campbell, and a copy of Golden Beast Slamy Flare. Now moving on with the other units, for the Great 3s, I put in 2 copies of Sunrise Ray Knight Gurgate, a foil version from the start deck, 4 copies of Salvation Lion Grand Ezel Scissors, 2 copies of Knight of the Scorching Sun Arvirvarkus, 4 copies of Burning Scale Knight Eliwood, a copy of Knight of the Remaining Sun Hernius, 1 copy of Burlgal, a copy of Law Abiding Knight Lawton, 2 copies of Flashed Edge Valkyr, 3 copies of Knight of the Faint Sun Marcia, 2 copies of Blade Feather Valkyr, 4 copies of the Strider Dawning Knight Gorbaduk, 4 copies of Holy Mage Bridery, 1 copy of Dexgal, 2 copies of Coolgal. For my starting Vanguard, I put in a copy of Scarlet Lion Cub Karya. For trigger lineup, there are 4 critical triggers, 2 of them being Flame of Victory, 4 stun triggers, 2 of them being Play of the Holy Pipe Jerry, and 2 Gigantic Ringer. Regular heal triggers, and for draw triggers, I put in Falcon Knight of the Azure. Okay, let's move on with the deck specifics, shall we? The Gold Paladin clan is most suitably known to have strength within numbers, and much more specifically Spirit Call cards from their deck. But for this clan, they don't just simply Spirit Call cards as per normal, they will actually Spirit Call the top few cards from their deck, and Spirit Call any cards that were given as options from whatever the player checked. Now the main idea for this deck is to have a full field advantage, meaning that you want to have a full field to have your maximum attacking capabilities. Now for the main Vanguard, you have 2 options. Either you'll be able to ride Gurgate or your or Grand Ezel Scissors as your main Vanguard. Now high chances you might be able to have Grand Ezel Scissors as your main Vanguard because there's like 4 copies of it. However, I can say the same thing for Gurgate, because even though there's 2 copies, there are 4 copies of Gorbaduk, which allows you to search for Gurgate in order for you to ride it as your main Vanguard. Now let's focus on Ezel here. Now here's its Limit Break ability. By paying 2 Counterblast and 2 Soul Blast, you get to unlock all of your locked rear guards, provided if you're up against Link Joker. And if let's say you have 5 rear guards, it'll gain plus 10,000 power and 1 extra critical. And by the end of the turn, you get to counter charge 1 card and soul charge 1 card from your deck to your Vanguard's soul. So this is your main objective, is to like get Grand Ezel to hit with his maximum attacking capability. Now here's an additional skill. Let's just see he hasn't reached his limit break yet. Now it gets plus 1000 power for each of your rear guard. So by having just a full field itself, should be able to allow Grand Ezel to attack even higher than its main attacking base. But hey, here's a bigger question: how do you get 5 rear guards to meet its condition? Well, first and foremost, I have Eliwood here, which says here that by paying 1 Counterblast, the moment when Ezel has been put onto the Vanguard circle, by paying 1 Counterblast, you get to Spirit Call the top card of your deck to any of your open rear guard. So basically, as what the instruction says, is very clear. The moment you put Ezel on your Vanguard circle by paying 1 Counterblast, and boom, you get yourself an additional rear guard to further support Ezel's attacking force. Now let's just say you don't have Eliwood as your rear guard. Fret not, that's why I have Karya as the starting Vanguard. Now here's what Karya can do. Now by putting this unit into your Vanguard's soul, the moment it lands a successful attack hit when it boosted Ezel, you can Spirit Call the top 2 cards of your deck to the open rear guard. But however, you have to call it as in a resting position. So it might not help in your offenses, but hey, it should be able to help you to set up for your next turn. Now, maybe a monkey's paw from that, because like I said, it's Spirit Call 2 cards in resting position. How can you overcome these issues, meaning that you won't be able to do anything after Spirit Calling cards. Now, some of the cards that are highlighted from the deck listing, consisting of Deck Skull, which allows you to Spirit Call one card from the top 3 cards of your deck, and it gives plus 2000 power. So gives, even though it's Spirit Call as rest, at least it should be able to help to call more units to be able to attack any of your opponent's vanguards or rearguard. Or if you want to be more defensive, we have Cool Gal, which allows you to draw a card the moment you Spirit Call it from your deck to the rearguard circle. Now bear in mind that you need to have Generation Break 1 activated. For those who are still new, Generation Break 1 means that you have at least a G unit, a Grade 4 unit on your vanguard circle or face up in your G zone. That's how you could actually utilize Generation Break 1. Now another unit that would benefit well from Karya would be Flash Edge Valkyrie, which allows you to Spirit Call the top card of your deck to the rearguard circle the moment it's being Spirit Called from the deck to the rearguard. So that would help. However, you do have to pay 1 Counterblast the moment you Spirit Call it from the deck to the rearguard circle. Now, judging by the cards that I revealed to you just now, they could like cost a lot of counters. Basically, it costs a lot of counterblasts to use these abilities. Now, how do you like save up your counterblast to use these kind of abilities to the maximum potential? Now, this is where Marcia and Gary would come into play. Now, what Marcia can do is that the moment you activate Unite, meaning you call 2 or more rearguards to the rearguard circle during your turn, by the end of each turn, you get to put Marcia into your Vanguard's Soul and countercharge 1 card from your damage zone. So you get to utilize more counterblast later on. Marcia can also be used during your opponent's turn, meaning that the moment you call 2 or more units in the Guardian Circle, her Unite skill will be activated as well, hence of allowing you to open up more damage zones and opening up more opportunities for you to counterblast during your later turns. And the fun part about Marcia, it has resist, meaning that if you're up against Narukami, Kagero, or any clan that targets this rearguard using a specific skill, then it won't be affected in any way possible. However, it's just an 8k base, so you might want to think twice on putting Marcia as your offensive options, but using her to countercharge cards, hey, by all means, please do so. And also, like, Gary has the same skill as Marcia. However, now for Gary, after activating Unite, now it gets plus 3000 power until the end of the turn. And at the end of the battle, not at the end of the turn, end of the battle, meaning that after it attacked or boosted, you get to put Gary into your Vanguard Soul and countercharge your damage zone, henceforth allowing you to counterblast later on during your future turns. So that's how Ezel would have worked in this deck. Now let's just say we move on to Gurguit. Now, for those who know how to play Gurguit, you should know how Gurguit's Generation Break 2 would work. Now, by paying 1 Counterblast and Soul Blast, it's Generation Break 2. At the beginning of the guard step that this unit was attacked, you get to check the top 4 cards of your deck and choose 1 card from it, and put it on the Guardian Circle to protect Gurguit. So that's Gurguit's Generation Break 2. Now, it also has a stride skill here, saying that the moment that this unit stride over Gurguit, by paying 1 Counterblast, you get to check the top 4 cards of your deck and Spirit Call 1 card among it and shuffle your deck later on, and then that particular unit will get plus 2000 power until the end of turn. So yeah, the skill explains as so the moment a G unit or Grade 4 unit is being placed on your Vanguard Circle by paying 1 Counterblast, basically on Gurguit, of course. Check the top 4 cards of your deck and you get to Spirit Call 1 card and it gains plus 2000 power. The rest you shuffle up afterwards. So yeah, that's the main focuses on this deck's Vanguard. Other notable unit would be Aviracus, where it gains an additional 1000 power the moment you call other units to your rearguard circle. But bear in mind, you need to activate Unite first, then you get to benefit Aviracus' special ability. Now let's just say you weren't able to activate Aviracus' Unite ability. there's Oasis Generation Break 1, which allows it to get plus 4000 power when it attacks your opponent's Vanguard. And other than that, now let's just say you already have Flash Breaker on your Flash Edge Breaker on your rearguard circle, and you won't be able to use her on-call skill because it wasn't called on the rearguard circle, or you really just did, but you got nothing better else to do. That's where Blade Feather Valkyrie would work. Now, Blade Feather Valkyrie, what it can do is that the moment it lands a successful attack hit against your opponent's Vanguard and it boosted Flash Edge, by paying 1 counterblast, you get to Spirit Call the top card of your deck to the rearguard circle. So that's still pretty helpful to give your opponents the necessary pressure, and let's say your opponents wouldn't care less about guarding, it will allow you to Spirit Call more units to your rearguard circle. Now, other than that, there's one copy of Hernius, which allows you to Spirit Call 1 card from the top 3 cards of your deck at the cost of 1 Counterblast and 1 Soul Blast. But if Gurgit is your Vanguard, then that particular unit and itself would gain plus 3000 power until end of the turn. Oh, my mistake, that is actually that particular unit, not Hernius. Hernius doesn't get anything. But hey, it's still helpful because, like I said, you want to maximize your field capabilities for your offensive prowess. And last but not least, I have Gigantic Ringer here, which gives your newly Spirit Called unit plus 5000 power until end of the turn, at the cost of putting this unit back to the deck and reshuffle it, and the fun part, you get to draw 1 extra card from your deck. So that pretty much covers up the main aspect for this deck. Let's move on to the G units. Stride Generation. Now, for this particular Sun Lion deck, I put in 3 different G units in this deck. One of them being the Golden Beast Slay Me Flare, which is a G Guardian unit. By discarding a heal trigger from your hand to the drop zone, you get to call it from the G zone to the Guardian Circle. Now, the moment it's being placed on the Guardian Circle, by choosing one of your rear guards and putting it to the bottom of your deck, you get to check the top 5 cards of your deck and Spirit Call up to 2 cards of different grades from those choices to the Guardian Circle, and the rest you put it back you put it back to your deck and shuffle. So the effect goes as so: check the top 5 sorry there, and Spirit Call up to 2 cards with different grades to the Guardian Circle. So henceforth, increasing its already 15k base shield with multiple guardians. However, if you're lucky enough to get a Sentinel unit among those 5, hey, you get to save up cards from your deck and also ensure yourself an attack being nullified. Yeah. Now, next up, for the other G units I have here, the Fast Chase Golden Knight Campbell. Now, what Campbell can do, the moment it lands a successful attack hit against your opponent's Vanguard, now by checking the top 5 cards of your deck, you get to Spirit Call 1 card among those choices to the rearguard circle, shuffle your deck, and that particular unit will gain plus 2000 power until the end of the turn. So I don't think I have to explain further how it goes. So yeah, the moment it lands a successful attack hit, you get to simply Spirit Call a unit from the top 5, gains plus 2000 power, and the rest goes back to the deck, shuffled. So yeah, that's how Campbell works. And last but not least, I have here the Golden Knight of Incandescence Ebraucus. Now, what Ebraucus can do is basically an on strike skill, meaning that the moment it's being placed on the Vanguard Circle, then its skill will trigger. Now, how will it trigger, you ask? Okay, pretty easy. Let me just show you how it works. Now, the moment it's being placed on the Vanguard Circle, by paying 1 Counter Blast and 1 Soul Blast, check the top 2 cards of your deck, and then choose 1 card among it and Spirit Call it to the rearguard circle, whereas the rest goes to the bottom of the deck. So I guess that covers up the G units of this section. Let's move on with the summary. The Gold Paladin Sun Lion deck, the deck I specifically built based around Gurgit and Ezel at the same time, which complements each other's skill at the very best as possible. Now, I'm well aware that there are other cards that can make this deck even better, but hey, that's why I'm putting it on sale. And if you want to buy it, the price itself as of this recording is 150 ringgit Malaysia. Conversions by depending on where your country's origin is, but hey, I'm selling it in ringgit Malaysia. If you want to buy it, links down below which will lead you to the purchase page. I'll guide you with the payment process and also the postage details. Other than that, thanks again for watching. Enjoy card fighting. Stay subscribed for more contents like this, and as the tagline always say, stand up my Vanguard.